Es siempre poquito difícil hablar en inglés y español y no me gusta repetir, entonces voy a decir algo en inglés y después algo diferente en español, diferentes partes de esta celebración. I'm going to start in English and try to say different things. First of all, this is a wonderful night of our faith, not only because we commemorate our Last Supper, and we commemorate in some way the institution of Eucharist, some say priesthood too, but it's more than that. It's a connecting deeply with this celebration of the Passover, because that's what Jesus was celebrating this night. That first reading that spoke about how the lamb would be eaten and the blood would be poured over the lintel of the door so that when the angel of death came, would kill all the firstborn male of every animal and human being except those who had this blood over the door. And then it said the angel would pass over, and that's why you will celebrate every year at this time to remember that the angel of death passed over the houses of those whose blood of the lamb was on the doorposts. There are so many things that connect in our celebration of Eucharist with this event. But the best part is this. Jesus was celebrating the Passover, and then he laid over that celebration, which was very explicit. You heard the details. Do this, don't do that. This is what you are to say. Over that, he put a whole nother new meaning. So in addition, he took bread, blessed it, broke it, gave it to them, and said, "This is my body, eat it." He took a cup of wine, blessed it, said, "This is the cup of my blood, given to you for the forgiveness of sins. Drink it, and do this in memory of me." So that this celebration was plastered over the celebration of the Feast of Passover to give a new meaning to it. And the new meaning was to make it accessible to you and me, just as the Jews found accessibility in the Passover feast. Because every year, including this year, the Jews will celebrate it again. Now, they do it in their homes, and everybody participates. If you've ever been to a Seder supper, a Passover supper, it's wonderful. There's a point where there's a cracker they pick up and they stick it in some horseradish and they eat it and they go, "Ooh, why do we eat this?" And the father says to them, the children ask it, "This is to remember how bitter our lives were when we wandered in the desert and when we were slaves in Egypt." So they eat the terrible horseradish. Ooh. Then they take a cracker and put it in honey. And they say, "Why do we do this, Father?" And the father teaches and explains. This is to remember how sweet it was when the Lord led us out of slavery into freedom to a land flowing with milk and honey. So they, That's what it's meant to be. An experience of learning how God had saved his people. And what they were doing is called anamnesis. They were not just remembering a past event. And they weren't just saying, if they knew the number of years, well, this is year 1247. They might have said that, but what they were really doing was an anamnesis. They were remembering a past event so that it could become present to them right there. And this is what they believed. The same power that led our ancestors out of slavery into freedom, that power is here in God for us. It's always here, and tonight we celebrate that as we recall this memory. That's what we do with the Eucharist. We say the words that Jesus said at the Last Supper, this other ceremony that he placed over it, because Jesus wanted accessibility to him in our lives. You can't get any more blunt than this. Eat me and drink me so that I can live in you. Eat me and drink me so that I can enter into your spirit. And it's meant to be that brutal, that blunt. I want to eat of the Lord. I want to drink of the Lord. That the Lord Jesus Christ will dwell in me, love me, guide me, free me, heal me, bless me, fill me with hope. This is what we celebrate tonight. But in John's Gospel, we get something more. So the gift to the English community, because I'm going to emphasize something different for the Spanish, is this. In just a few moments, as a part of the teaching for our church, I will disrobe from this outer chasuble, put an apron on. Tonight I'm doing it very simple, not down the aisles, not everybody doing it, just simple tonight for multiple reasons. I'm just going to go very symbolically to 12 chairs representing 12 apostles, wash their feet, dry them. Because not yet, 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 not yet. They're so anxious. They're so anxious. Because Jesus had a lesson. He had a lesson. He said, I'm going to do something. You won't get it now, but you'll get it later. Watch what I do, because I'm going to ask you to do the same. And then the master, the teacher, and this would be for us if the bishop came here, and he would do it because he does the ceremony just like I'm doing, but imagine if you came into the bishop's offices or residence, he invited you for dinner, and of course it's hard to imagine because we not only don't have this custom, but you see, they walked on roads that were dusty and dirty. They wore sandals. So when they arrived at a house, their feet were dirty. So the servants came out, always the servants, and one of their first tasks was to wash the feet of the travelers who entered the home. But in this case, imagine if it was a bishop's home, he got down on his hands and knees and washed the feet of his guests. He acted as servant. And this is what Jesus did. And not only that, I'm giving you a lesson because you have to learn this and do exactly the same. I have a priest friend who likes to use this phrase, and I like it myself. He says, we are a community of foot washers. That's what we're called to be, a community of foot washers. Our attitude, first it's got to start inside, even before our actions show it. The attitude is, I'm willing to wash the feet of my brothers and sisters. Are we? Are we? I'm not convinced. It's a beautiful ceremony. It's elegantly portrayed for us here. But the lesson is the most important part. And you see, if you went home tonight and said, well, let me ask, are there any people here for the first time here on a Holy Thursday? I'm sure every year there's a few that have never been here. Okay. So if they walked out and said this, OMG, what a beautiful ceremony. Father Barry even got down and washed the feet of people representing the 12 apostles. It was beautiful. Bad response. What they should say is, OMG. Jesus, this is serious. He's asking us to be foot washers to one another, to care for the needs of others. Now look around. There's, say 300 of us? I don't know. And what if we went through the ceremony and we got it and said, that's it. Oh my God. Tomorrow, as we're going to celebrate him being put up on that cross and murdered and rejected totally, he comes back to life to say, remember what I told you about being foot washers? That's the meaning of tonight. Now, I know we celebrate also the institution of Eucharist. We see the roots of that here. But what would it be to have a church of people who went to the Eucharist even every day, but they never washed the feet of anyone else? I think Jesus would say, I failed. And you know what? They eat and drink me, but I don't think I get inside. Their mouth, yeah, but I want in their hearts. So I propose to you that tonight, the center of this celebration, in so many ways, is the foot washing, which is why every year I beg you, and every community I've been in, I beg them, and I can't get 100%. I say, please take off just one shoe. We'll all wash each other's feet. Just try it. Because I'm so convinced that that's the center of this ceremony tonight. I think that Jesus wants us to do something, to become something, to be changed into something. And that is, quite simply, a community that loves so much that it just has to serve the needs of others. El punto que quiero decir en español es eso. Hay una cosa muy bonita en la ceremonia de los judíos, porque ellos creen mucho en una, no iglesia, pero como una sinagoga doméstica, porque en sus casas, por todas las grandes celebraciones del año, ellos celebran en casa y la mamá y papá tienen un parte de la ceremonia muy bonito y muchas veces los niños piden preguntas y hay una cosa que tienen que hacer. Por ejemplo, ellos tienen un día cuando ellos tienen que perdonar a todos. Este es el punto de la celebración. En esta celebración de Pascua, que Jesús estaba celebrando en la noche de Jueves Santo, en esta noche ellos estaban celebrando la liberación que ellos recibieron de Dios. Entonces cada año ellos celebran la Pascua, cuando el ángel de la muerte pasaban sobre las cosas, salvando a la gente. Pero el punto es eso. Yo creo que posiblemente, la iglesia es grande y muy bonito, pero posiblemente perdimos algo porque celebramos todo aquí. Está bien que celebramos aquí, pero yo creo que los judíos tienen algo a enseñarnos. Porque si no tenemos una iglesia doméstica en nuestras casas, si no es una iglesia doméstica en que familias están celebrando estas celebraciones y este símbolos, el significado de ellos, yo creo que estamos recibiendo una cosa formal aquí y muy bonito, pero entre la familia, que son las relaciones más personales, más íntimo, aquí tenemos que ser iglesia doméstica. Entonces voy a dar este reto a ustedes. ¿Cómo puede tomar esta celebración en que celebramos la última cena de Jesús, en que celebramos la lavando los pies, porque Jesús dijo, esto es muy importante, esta lección, y quiero que todos ustedes van a lavar los pies de uno al otro? ¿Cómo podemos celebrar transfiriendo la Eucaristía al salón por algunas horas de meditación, contemplación, silencio con Jesús? Que esta noche, antes que celebramos la muerte de Jesús, podemos celebrar el significado en nuestras casas con familia en la iglesia doméstica. Porque si aquí podemos, y no solamente celebrar, pero decir uno al otro, ¿qué significa eso por mí? Porque yo creo en esta cena. Porque yo creo en el poder de comer y beber mi Señor. Porque yo creo sus palabras que sirviendo, lavando los pies de uno al otro es una cosa tremenda y muy importante que tenemos que poner nuestra fe en acción. Entonces mi reto a ustedes es si podemos mover de aquí allá a las casas y iglesias domésticas y tratan este año a poner poquito más en acción la fe que compartimos. So at this time, we continue our celebration, and this is part of the drama this night, the washing of the feet. And, you know what's going to happen, and you may see it or may not see it very clearly, but what I think will be, much of the power will be the song and the words and the music that we sing as we do this ritual. This is just a ritual, a few drops of water, but the ritual is pointing to the truth that Jesus is giving us, that we need to learn to serve one another. So we continue, and now the apostles will come forward with their chairs and share in the washing of the feet.